Hello and welcome back to another edition of IDOLOGY, the weekly American Idol recap show where we discuss the Haleys of tomorrow, today. I'm here with season 6 standout Melinda Doolittle. We're going to talk about top 13 week, and honestly a theme that sounded like it was going to go all wrong, but turned out to be all right.
Number one, I thought it might be a little too soon to be doing Whitney Houston songs. I need a little more time to get over this. And then number two, they always say, don't cover Whitney, don't cover Stevie. But let's have a whole week of both. So I was very, very nervous, but obviously for no reason.
I've got to say, we did not compare notes beforehand, so we may agree on our favorite two for the week, and I forced you to narrow it down to your favorite two. If I had to start talking about them, I'm just going to make this face. Because I had like my stank face on the whole time Joshua Ledet was performing I Wish.
When he did that little scat thing on the do-do-do-doos, I think I kind of lost my mind. And I wasn't even feeling that well, but I jumped out of the bed for that one. Like, I was like, yes! I mean, love him.
The kid can actually dance. He's stylishly dressed. He was fun to watch. When he was in the bottom three guys, my jaw dropped. I thought, how could this be? Maybe he should start like a bromance or something. I think that that's helping Philip and Heejun at this point. It was clear from results night that he's a friend of Skylar and he's a friend of Hollie. So maybe if the three of them form a power troika of idol awesomeness, that can boost all of their fortunes together.
But see, now, if you would follow them on Twitter, you would know that Joshua and Hollie are already best friends.
Look, we know my Twitter policy. I like to keep it under 100 or close to 100. I already had to drop Lauren Elena this week to make room for Skylar and Joshua. And that's all I'm following so far from season 11. So that's my warning to you idols out there. If I'm following you, keep it interesting. Let's see. Do you agree with me on number 2? Let's just hear. Survey says
Deandre.
Same here.
Seriously?
We be jammin' and jammin' and jammin' and jammin' jam on. He could have been singing Gitchy Gitchy Ya Ya Tata, you know, from Lady Marmalade. I had no idea what the hell he was saying during that song, and I did not care.
First of all, I love that his hair was tied up, so it wasn't like flipping all over the place because it had the potential of doing that. What pushed him kind of into my top 2 was that we got to see a completely different side of him, even in the interview portion. My favorite was when Ryan was playing him, like crying. He was like, oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Wait, where did that come from?
Is it controversial that we didn't pick Jessica Sanchez, who I think probably in terms of idol moments had the first idol moment of the season? I just think I Will Always Love You is a tough song to condense to 90 seconds. It builds to that end I part, and I'm not gonna try and sing that part, but it builds to it. And even the first verse, you know, if I should stay, the second half of that verse was missing from the song, and it was just sort of like, it was a little bit sliced up for me.
Yeah, it didn't really live up to the hype of The Wind Machine. She didn't change it up at all, and that's what made me happy about other contestants like Erica or Elise, you know, that they took some time to kind of change it up a little bit to match what they did. And I don't know that she knows what her flavor is quite yet. I think that she's amazing at what she does, but what she does is singing it just like the artist has done it. We cannot forget Skylar.
Yeah.
Skylar nailed it.
I look in your eyes, and I know that you still care.
It had that feeling of like, oh, did Dolly Parton write this one too? And then Whitney covered it later, which is pretty remarkable. And I think maybe she didn't get quite enough credit for putting a real country stamp on it. And I've got to say, the one other person I feel like I need to defend a little bit this week is Heejun, because I felt like Jimmy came down on him really hard on results night.
This shows up all of his flaws.
And I thought that was a nice vocal from him, especially when he got to the end, when he got to the writer takes the pen, and there was that little break in his voice. There were some really great things going on there.
The writer takes his pen to write the words again.
Last person that we forget to mention is Philip Phillips. Just the way he interacted with the band, loved that. He was kind of screaming towards the end.
Superstition ain't the way.
However, he did it in such a cute way, I wasn't really mad at him. Sorry.
You're succumbing to the cute. You're remembering him waking up in bed. I'm just putting it out there. Let's talk about a couple of contestants who are bubbling up right under the surface, may have a legitimate shot at dethroning Jessica and Philip at the top of the pack, but maybe need some help to get there. And for me, number one on that list is Hollie Cavanagh. There's a ton of raw talent there, but I still feel like there's a weird combination of nerves and maybe over singing that's stopping me from completely boarding that bandwagon.
When I look at her, she seems really stiff and just kind of like, okay, here I go. She doesn't put that feeling behind it that other contestants are doing right now. And I think that if she would just let herself go for 1 second, we would hear some amazing things from her.
She's a contestant that needs to move away from big diva ballads.
Yes.
I'd love to hear her cover a Britney Spears song. Like, let's hear her on Toxic.
Oh.
Let's hear her cover a funkier male artist. Let's hear her do some Usher or something that allows her voice to surprise us.
I think Jimmy's pigeonholing her in the ballad realm because he's like, little girl, big voice, do this. I think maybe if she just kind of lets that go and says, okay, I'll try something different. I'm going to listen to Michael Slezak and do what he says. And then I think we can be just fine with her.
In other words, she's got to get out of the Thea Magia ghetto. Like, that ghetto exists. They see pretty wee young things that could hold that bowl of porridge and say, please, sir, can I have some more?
Come here, little girl.
And they force them to do too many colors of the wind.
Do you know where the wicked go after death?
They go to hell.
And should you like to fall into that pit and be burning there forever?
No, sir.
So who's your person this week that you'd like to give a little advice to?
You know what? I think mine is Colton Dixon.
Does it have anything to do with his skinny jeans? Because they're kind of killing me. His legs sometimes disappear on the stage, like if there's a black backdrop, they're like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It's almost cartoon-like. It's gotta stop.
He's singing beautifully. But he's got this thing in his head like, this is what a rock star would do. And this is how they would look at the camera. And this is how they would move. This is how they would dress. And this is how their hair would be. And I think it comes across as a little put on.
It's just a little bit much. The meaning of the song gets lost sometimes when all that other stuff comes to the forefront. There was one other big surprise for me this week in Idol, and that was Elise. I thought Elise was a shoo-in for at least the Idol tour, if not the top 5. And I've got to say, I didn't think I'm Your Baby Tonight was nearly as bad as the judges slammed her for. And I think J-Lo said something like, your timing was off.
There was timing issues, there was other things.
I think that was all deliberate on her part, trying to do something that was a little more unique to her.
You got a way that you're making me feel I can do anything for you, baby.
I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone when I was listening to the judges talk.
You just felt a little unsure.
That one wasn't good.
No to everything you both said.
Some of the choices that she made with the melody and just the way that she just kind of fell off those lines.
You're giving me ecstasy. You are my fantasy.
I actually loved her performance, so I was very confused with the judges.
Yeah, you were not in the Twilight Zone, Melinda. You were in the Haley Zone. We can hear the train a-coming.
I thought it was a bad song choice.
I know, dude.
Her biggest mistake this week was the glumness as they critiqued her, the swearing backstage,
Judges gave me some
the failure to applaud Erica when she was sent to safety. And she should watch tapes of Haley responding to being in the bottom 3 when she dusted off her stool and smiled.
She's one of those people that lays it all out on the line, and
Yeah.
when you've given 150% and you're like, I did it, and then the judges are like,
Right.
like it's hard. I mean, even dear Haley got angry at one point.
We see Elise in the bottom 2 contestants for the whole week, and yet Shannon just missed one note, McGrain,
only one note. It was just one note.
and Jermaine, like, I thought I was great. Jones
I think I did a pretty good job.
are safe. How?
I know that Elise hands down outsang Shannon.
But honestly, like, if I had to choose between her or Jermaine going home, I would have selected Jermaine to go home. I felt like his performance started out middling and then it fell apart like a cardboard box in the rain.
I don't wanna bore you with it.
And then he kind of has an attitude on top of it.
I'm gonna have to blame Nigel for this one though.
When I want your opinion, madam, I shall call for it.
Because I think he feels like, you know, they brought me back because they had no other choice. I'm just that good.
I think we just need to end by telling Jermaine, you are not the Melanie Amaro of Idol's 11th season. You're not gonna end up in a Pepsi ad during the Super Bowl with Elton John. It's not gonna happen. So get it together, get your attitude right, and try and sing in tune for the next 2 to 3 weeks that you're on the show. Thank you, and good night.